Good morning and welcome to Troy University Online. As you are aware, with the COVID-19 pandemic going on, we will be transitioning to online instruction for the next couple of weeks. And so, as I'm sure you've discovered with your other classes now, there is quite the transition to be had. But we will conquer, we will remain united, and we will adapt because that is what Trojans do. So, for today, we will be discussing pronouns. Pronouns are a tricky but useful element of writing. They are used in place of nouns or other pronouns should the need arrive. They avoid the repeated use of a person's name or a thing's name. For example, as you can see right here, without pronouns, we might have a sentence that reads, Tom wanted to go to Troy. Tom wanted to go into journalism. Tom likes sports, and Tom wanted to be a sportscaster. Now, that's kind of choppy and not very smooth, right? It is a case where this repeated use of the name Tom kind of interrupts the flow of the sentence. And so if we replace Tom's name with pronouns, the flow becomes a lot better. So then you can read it as Tom wanted to go to Troy. He wanted to go into journalism. Tom liked sports, and he wanted to be a sportscaster. Now, as you see right here, we haven't quite replaced all of the instances of the word Tom. We started off identifying who Tom was at the beginning of the sentence, and you really want to do that as often as you can. You want to make sure that your readers know who you are talking about. However, afterwards, you have the liberty of replacing the person's name with a pronoun. He wanted to go into journalism. He wanted to be a sportscaster. You could even say he liked sports. You don't have to do one and then the other and then one and the other all of the time. I just did it for the sake of the example to show that that is an option that you have, but you could write Tom wanted to go to Troy, he wanted to go into journalism, he liked sports, and he wanted to be a sportscaster. By all means, you have that liberty as well, but it's nice to have a little bit of variety sometimes. Now, the noun or pronoun that is being replaced is called an antecedent. So in the case of Tom, the journalist, and going to Troy, Tom is our antecedent, and he, of course, is the pronoun. So whenever you hear the phrase pronoun antecedent or pronoun antecedent agreement, this is what is being referred to. He is the pronoun, but Tom is our antecedent. So, let's talk about pronoun antecedent agreements. A pronoun must agree or match with its antecedent. And it must match in number and in gender. For example, if we had the sentence, President Trump gave her speech to the public today, that would be an incorrect sentence. The pronoun antecedent agreement is not there. They do not agree because President Trump is not a woman, and therefore her would be an inappropriate pronoun to use. However, if we edit the sentence to read, President Trump gave his speech to the public today, now we have a pronoun and an antecedent that agree with each other. President Trump is a male, his is a male pronoun, therefore, President Trump gave his speech to the public today. It also matches in number. President Trump is one person, his is a singular pronoun, and therefore one to one, male to male, President Trump gave his speech to the public today. We also have the Wilsons, who are collectively referring to as a family. The Wilsons gave up their old TV set to a friend. As you can see, their matches up with the Wilsons. We don't necessarily know the gender of everyone that makes up the Wilsons, but that's okay. We can assume that the Wilsons are made up of men and women. But with this S right here on Wilson, we can assume that this is a family of two or more people, therefore there are multiple people. There is a plural pronoun, so the Wilsons gave up their old TV set to a friend. And then you have, similar to the President Trump sentence, Harriet Tubman led her people to freedom. Harriet Tubman is a woman, she is a singular woman, and therefore her is a singular female pronoun. Harriet Tubman led her people to freedom through the Underground Railroad. More examples of pronoun antecedent agreements. If we look at the sentence, any student can tell you what their favorite part of school is, then we have an example of an inconsistent use of a pronoun and an antecedent. The noun student, the antecedent, does not match up with the pronoun because student is a singular noun, and there, again, as we discussed at the beginning of the year, for the purpose of this class, is a plural pronoun. Therefore, any student can tell you what their favorite part of school is an incorrect use of the pronoun and the antecedent because they do not match up. Now, if you feel awkward using his or using her, and remember, we don't want to use his or her together, we want to just pick one. And so if you feel awkward saying any student can tell you what his favorite part of school is, or saying any student can tell you what her favorite part of school is, the simple fix is to just make the subject plural. Most students can tell you what their favorite part of school is because students is plural, as you can see right here. With the S right here, we know that students is now a plural noun. There is a plural pronoun. Most students can tell you what their favorite part of school is. So we've discussed what the pronoun antecedents look like and how to match up pronoun antecedents. Now we need to talk about indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns are pronouns that do not refer to a specific person. They are a more generalized use of pronouns, and they can be a little tricky because they seem a little bit more deceptive. People tend to want to make indefinite pronouns plural all of the time, when actually the opposite is true. If we look right here at this table, all of these words in these first three columns right here, and from something to much to another and down, all of these pronouns act as singular pronouns. They're singular. All of these pronouns in bold, all, any, none, and some, can be either singular or plural, depending on the sentence and depending on how you need to use them. But an indefinite pronoun is not, you will not find a group of indefinite pronouns that are only plural all the time. The closest you get comes with these four, all, any, none, and some, which can act as plural pronouns, but they can also act as singular depending on the context. But another, much, something, anybody, anyone, neither of, anything, nobody, all the way down here on this non-bolded side, these are singular indefinite pronouns only. So what does that look like? Well, if you are a fan of the band Queen, then surely you know of their famous song, Another One Bites the Dust. If we look here at this first sentence, another is our pronoun. Another one, another person, bites. Do you see how there's this S right here at the end of bites? It indicates that we have a singular subject, right? Going all the way back to verbs and singular subjects with verbs and plural subjects with verbs. Another one, another person, bites the dust. Another is singular. We're not referring to a specific person per se, not by name anyway, but there is some general one person that has bitten the dust. Or everyone wants to sing his favorite song. Now, you might be thinking, why would everyone be singular if we can assume that there are multiple people? And that's a good question. The reason why is because when you use an indefinite pronoun such as everyone or nobody, what you're doing is you're recognizing the individuality within that group. So let's say that we're at a party with 50 people there. Everyone wants to sing his favorite song, or everyone wants to sing her favorite song. The reason we say his favorite song or her favorite song is because not everyone necessarily will have the same favorite song in a group of 50 people. Though there are a lot of people together, indefinite pronouns recognize the individuality of a person by expressing the fact that though it is a general kind of person that's not specified, each person has their own uniqueness within that set. Nobody in here goes outside for the time being. Again, we have an instance of, we have the singular use of goes. Nobody goes outside for the time being. We're recognizing each individual person in that group of nobody. But I want you to compare that with this follow-up sentence, they, which we know is a plural pronoun. They all go outside right now. See, in they, we are referring to all of these people in the group. There are multiple people. They could be 2, could be 20. With go, right here, we see that we have the use of go as a verb with a plural subject, and therefore we have to adjust and make sure that our pronoun, our subject pronoun, is also plural. So they go outside, nobody goes outside. All want to do something to fix this. None eat out during the quarantine. These all and none, don't forget, are in that set of 4 that we have that can act as either singular or plural indefinite pronouns. All want to do something to fix this, and none eat out during the quarantine. Do you see how want and eat do not have s's at the end? Therefore, they reflect the fact that we are considering the plurality of all and the plurality of none to be correct for both of these instances. So indefinite pronouns are used in situations where we want to refer to a generic person or a generic group of people, but we don't have a specific name for those people or a particular identification for these people. Now, real quick, before I run out of time on this video, let's discuss collective nouns. Collective nouns are kind of like the opposite of indefinite pronouns. They are nouns that act as a single unit. And as you can see here, we have a whole list of collective nouns. This is not an exhaustive list. There are certainly more, but these are just some of the more common collective nouns that we may come across. Audience, crowd, jury, team, government. And what they might look like in sentences: the football team plays its last home game tonight. The government seeks to serve its people. And the class studies grammar and English mechanics. As you see here, the football team, we know that there are multiple people on a football team, plays, you see that S right there for plays, and we even see the singular its last home game tonight. Do you remember in the first slide how we said that a pronoun can replace another pronoun? Well, here we have a pronoun replacing a collective noun. But though we know multiple people are on a football team, we are referring to the team as one collective unit, one collective body. Same thing with the government. We know that there are a lot of people that make up a government, but we tend to refer to government as one acting body. So the government seeks to serve its people. Same thing with classes. For this class, for instance, this English class studies grammar and English mechanics. though you are all individual